Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, you are playing the white pieces and your goal is to checkmate black. See if you can find the knockout sequence that leads to the victory. If you'd like to pause the video, feel free, try it on your own. If not, I'm going to go ahead and explain how you can see it. Okay, let's think about this position and see all the ways that these knights and this queen are interacting together. Because clearly there's something going on over here, right? There's a lot of intersection squares. So one thing you might notice is that the knight and the queen are both on g7, and if there was no knight here, that would be mate. So keep that in mind. We'll just kind of hold that in the back. And then you also have this check here on e7, accessible by both knights, that would force a king move into the corner. So you say, okay, I'll keep that in mind. This square on h7 is a little bit weak. So, maybe in one day if I can get some attacker here, if the knight was here, then it would be a win, right? I would just be able to put the queen there. That'd be mate. So maybe you can think about how I can attack this square, right? You start kind of compiling all of these pieces of information, all these data points in your head that say, how can I take advantage of all these little things I'm noticing? And you put them in the right order, the right sequence, and you can crack the code, right? That's what's amazing about chess. That's what's fun about puzzles. It's its own little game. So let's see how you can get there. Well, notice that, like I just said, this knight and queen are coordinating on g7, but that square is protected by their knight. Their knight on e8 has responsibility to guard the square, which means you can tell yourself this knight on e8 cannot move because it has a responsibility. Okay, that's one way to think about it, right? And then this knight has also a responsibility of guarding this rook, because remember we just said that if I were to give check with one of these knights, the king will be forced in the corner, which means that this will be unprotected. So you know that this knight has a responsibility to guard this, and this knight has a responsibility to guard g7. Well, here's where it gets a little fancy. Remember I was saying h7 is very sensitive. Well, how do I attack h7 one more time? I can take my knight from d5 and put it on f6, with check, by the way. And it might look like I'm giving my knight away for nothing, because it can be captured in two different ways. But we just established that this knight has to guard against this mate. Let me use a different color arrow. This mate. And we also just established that this knight on d7 has to keep an eye on this rook. So even though this knight can be captured in two different ways, black can't capture it. And if they don't capture it, if they just move to the corner, well, that's mate. So they're going to have to capture it, which means this knight f6 move is the way to win. So knight f6 check, if you take with this knight, you've now given up control of f8. So I can make use of that check, get the king in the corner, check, they have to block, and that is mate. Well, what if they go the other knight? Well, like I just said, this other knight had a responsibility of guarding that square. So if they take knight f6, the knight on e to f6, boom, knight g7 is a mate. Or sorry, queen g7, that's a queen. So look at the way that you did it. You evaluated the position. You saw all the different options. You see the knight has a responsibility. It can't leave g7 or it can't leave f8. Well, you take all that into account and you're able to figure out that once you get this knight to f6, that's it. Knight f6 forces the win. This one will drop the rook. This one will drop the mate. Awesome, right? Crazy how you can sit there and think about all the little cracks in the position. This queen out here is doing a lot of nothing. Okay, so that's it. Crazy mate, right? Mate in 4. At absolute worst is mate in 4. Throw this check in the mix and you win. And hopefully the prettier mate is probably this one. Okay, that is it for this video. If you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. I've really been enjoying all of the feedback that I've been getting, so thank you all for that. And as you know, my goal is to help spread the game of chess and to help charity. So I appreciate all of you who have subscribed and who have commented. Thanks so much. Bye.